Well, well, well. 'Tis it be the Friday? I think it is. Friday. Gotta go to school on Friday. Holy crap, that wind is blowing that truck, that box truck. Oh my God, that wind just took that box truck like 4 feet over. Welcome to Chilly Willy, New England, where I comment to you about the news. I'm Rob. Hit subscribe. Thank you. Thank you to the 10,000 plus people who have hit subscribe. I appreciate you. Much love to you. Thank you for joining and building this community out to be what it should be, a movement. Because you don't have to work 3 jobs to afford egg, and you shouldn't have to work 3 jobs to afford egg. In fact, we shouldn't even be working 5 days a week. Some of you I know are working 7 days a week, and that shouldn't be. It shouldn't be. And it used to not, and it cannot be in the future. So that's what this community is about. Ensuring the wellness of our communities, ensuring the health of our communities, ensuring that we plant seeds wherever we go to make people think, critical or uncritical, just to get that noggin moving. Epstein photos leaked everywhere. Epstein photos everywhere. If it ain't about the money, puff, I just don't care. I believe that's a line from a rap song. And, you know, I was wondering, do we think the survivors will get justice? Do we think the law and order of America will take a hold? And do we think there will be holy wind? Do we think there will be accountability for those involved? What was their involvement? I don't know. But that's why, you know, we as a civilization, we created a government so we could have authorities and law and orderers and peace officers to serve and protect the public. You have maybe seen that slogan on a car somewhere. Protect and serve. Oh, that wind. The wind is winding today, man. The wind is a winding. Telling you, the wind is going. But do you think there will be any accountability for these people? Now, there are a lot of photos, and I got them. I got the photos. I'll show you the photos. And you may be of the mindset to go, proves nothing. Let them be. Let the poor billionaires alone. You may be one of those people. And to you, I say, okay, why don't we fully investigate it? Because everybody in their damn mind that was circulating in that circle, on that island, in those planes, the Lolita flights, knew. What did they know, you say? Well, all of Epstein's associates that have spoken, they knew he was hanging out with underage girls. Andrew Mountbatten, douchebore, whatever his name is, did a freaking interview where he was like, yes, well, I saw the young twats everywhere, but I was doing other business. And it's like, so wait a minute, let me get this straight, Andrew Mountbatten. Is this thing on? Tap, tap, tap. Let me hear what your take is. Oh yeah, I was going to hang out with Mr. Epstein, and I seen some suspect things, but I didn't question it, and I went about my business. Now let me position you of somebody in that position. You go to another 40-something. How old was the dude? You know, they're in their 40s at least. I think Mountbatten was divorced. He either married or divorced. You go to a billionaire's house where there are underage girls that are not his niece, cousin, daughter, you know, other relative, word, whatever. You go to a guy's house where he's got these young girls in there that you know are not his kids, friends, cousins, nieces, he's not running a babysit. They ain't the babysitters club, Andrew Mountbatten. What's a batten and why are you mounting it? My Christ. Lord help me. But let me get this straight. You go over there and you just think it's normal? I would question you, my friend, a little harder. Because if I went to a 40-something-year-old's house and he wasn't running, babysitter.com or whatever, and there was all these teens over there, I'd be like, what the is going on, dude? We got to get out. What are you doing? Where are your parents? That's the natural reaction, folks. When you go to a 50-year-old's house and he's got all these feral girls everywhere, and you're like, dude, you can't claim that they followed you home. Like, what the is going on, man? This is major creep central. So there is oh, sorry. Look at how beautiful the sun is. That is a huge gaseous star way, way, way out in outer space. Did you know that? It's crazy, isn't that? It's just a big ball of gas heating us up. Look at that. Science. Science! It's good for you. Sorry. I don't know what to tell you. What am I driving? If the sun's behind me, driving east. It's weird. So there. Hey, 16 Tone Studio. Hey, Rob. Timed out yesterday, making a mighty Boston reference. Want to say it wasn't. Oh, I didn't see you got timed out. My bad. Hey, listen. Let me say this. My mods, amazing, amazing humans, doing God's work in the comments. But sometimes satire and comedy and sarcasm does not come through on text. And I know that personally because I've been begging since the late 90s for a sarcastic font. Because when you type something out in an email or text and you're being sarcastic, it's hard for people to pick up on it. So our apologies. We get it wrong sometimes, and they're doing hard work. So sorry. Good to have you back, 16 Tones Studio. By the way, I got to check out your YouTube channel. You making music over there? What are you doing? You creating some of the Lord's music? I say the Lord's music, not as religious music. I mean, a gift from God. Kurt Cobain, gift from God. Tupac, gift from God. Okay? Not this AI stuff where it's a gift from the overlords at Palantir Studios or whatever. Palantir Studios. Joe Rogan's favorite new artist, featured on Palantir Studios. All right, so the Epstein files, folks. This is serious. No joking around, okay? Just kidding. You can joke as much as you want. Have fun. Have fun. You'll never get out of life alive, so have fun while you're here. But not that kind of fun, Mountbatten, Windsor, I mean, joke around. I mean, be light and lively. I don't mean commit heinous acts and then go on TV and be like, I wish I had a studio. So hit subscribe, hit the notification bell, because I would love to pull up the clip of Andrew Mountbatten, Windsor being like, yes, I went there, and at times I would see girls, but, just old Jeff. It was just old Jeffy. He always was being followed home by these poor girls. Like, that in itself is an indictment to the fucking 10th degree, okay? If you're telling me, oh yeah, we hung out in those circles and you just seen, I don't know, what were they cleaning the windows? I don't know what they were doing. Like, bro, if you're 50 years old and they're, I don't know what age, girls of an uncertain age at another 50-year-old's house, and he ain't married or have kids, and he has a assistant who is known for frequenting the old the masseuse parlors to bring these girls home, let me just say, suspect. So the new photos boosted out by the Democrats, by the way, by the Democrats. But at least they're putting them out. Let me see. There was a bunch of them, and I linked the article down below. Here's one of your favorite pervert in chief, old Queef Chief Queef. Yeah, this is Donald Trump with a bunch of redacted faces because these are girls of an uncertain age. I'd like to hear from them, you know. And maggots, M-A-G-A-T-S, I would imagine you would too. Remember last year? You guys were all about the survivors, believing the victims, hearing their story, holding these men accountable. What's changed? What's changed? I still think it's Creep City that you see this, what is he, 50 years old there? Remember, the dude is 80 right now, so he's like 50 in the fucking 90s. My Christ. And to think they voted against Joe Biden because he was old. It's hilarity. You know, if you detach from reality for a little bit and go, that's funny. They didn't want an old guy, so they voted for an older guy. Okay. It's exhausting. But it's just Creep Central that, you know, these photos even exist. I don't know. Isn't that like an old trope? 50-year-old weirdo gets weird around his daughter's friends, and like, this is that photo. I mean, he went on Howard Stern and was like, you know why I bought pageants, right? Because they can't kick the owner out. Oh, good God, folks. Good God, folks. Good God, folks. I'll say it again. Good God, folks. I still can't get over it. Like, I want a full investigation to find out what these pictures allude to, because, yeah, you're right. Photos don't prove nothing. Well, they do prove a couple of things. Donald Trump was around a bunch of underage girls and their faces are redacted. Why was he around them? We don't know. Steve Bannon, Alan Dersh, the Dersh. By the way, you see the photo of the Dersh? Look at this. Look at that face. Holy shit. That teaches at Harvard on what? How to scare people? Oh my God. What is your masterclass on, sir? How to freak people out from a photo? I don't know if I'm going to be able to sleep at night. I should give a trigger warning. Look at the Dersh. Or no, sorry, that's Larry Summers. Sorry, Larry Summers. He teaches at Harvard. Larry Dersh is in a different photo. Still scary face. Still scary face. Oh, they had snow up in New Hampshire. Oh, they had snow. They had snow up in New Hampshire. Look at how beautiful. Look at how beautiful the snow is. While we can still get it. While we can still get it. Soon it's all going to be deserts. Welcome, 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 everybody. Look at these turds in here. Bunch of little fucking... I'm gonna tell on you. Is that what you do? Go to live streams and go, I'm tattling. You fucking losers. You fucking losers. That's what you're bringing? I'm like, yo, look at the new Epstein photos. And you're like, I'm telling somebody on you. You fucking nerd. Get out of here and don't come back. Go get them, Greg. I love these people. I'm bringing you Epstein photos. Now we know why we're doing what we're doing in Venezuela. Because you little pea-brained rats need a distraction. You need something to look at. Something to repeat like a parrot. That's what it is. That's the unfortunate thing. So I'm just going to talk to the rest of the people who would like some accountability, who would like law and order. If you would like law and order, we need to figure out what Bill Gates and Larry Summers are doing on the Lolita Express. I'll link the article to the story with these photos and more photos, gross photos. I don't even know if I want to show this photo. I'll show it real quick. But, I mean, if you look right here for a second, you see that? A Trump. These are in the Epstein things. So you guys can say all you want, like, oh, proves nothing. But you're not making those kind of jokes with Epstein if you don't know anything. And I think, as Americans, it's our duty to want justice, to want law and order. Cue the American flag to wave in the background to me. We'll put it in post. But all Americans should want law and order, justice. We should want our communities safer, right? Right? And we should listen. Clock's ticking. Clock's a ticking. I don't have a watch, but I could tell the time's ticking. I can tell. They have until, I believe, next Friday to release the files in their entirety. So look at that. Oh, who's that? Richard Branson. Who's that? Old Epstein himself, surrounded by a jungle that have probably heard the screams. That jungle, you wouldn't want to know what it's heard. If that jungle could speak. My God. And you can, oh, look at that. Old racist cuck Steve Bannon with his buddy Epstein. Look at that. There he is. Larry Summers, still allowed to teach at Harvard. Hey, Harvard. How are you letting this dude walk away when he wants? How are you not escorting this to the guy to the door with security? By the way, if you don't know what Harvard is, it's a college with young, impressionable minds. How are we as an American public allowing this shit? Write your local Harvard representative. Do we all have Harvard representatives? Maybe not. But I don't know. I feel like Harvard should have been like, yeah, you know, this isn't a good look to have this creep who's here flying on the Lolita Express. You know, Jeffrey Epstein's private plane. I don't know if it's a good look to have this dude teaching young, impressionable minds. You know, maybe not a good look, Harvard. But who am I to critique Harvard? You know, the place where Jared Kushner's dad spent billions of dollars or hundreds of millions or millions of dollars so it ensured Jared Kushner could go there. You know, meritocracy. They redefined the word. Oh, who's that? Is that Woody Allen? I don't know. Oh, look, another. Goddamn, Steve Bannon. You just were like, look at Epstein's like, hey, get in here. They're going to use this later. This could be evidence later. And this one, they were like, oh, let's have a photographer on scene so we could plot the ways we're going to destroy America. Right here, he's saying, right here, Steve Bannon's saying, and we're going to use the phrase law and order. Get a kick out of that. We're going to be the law and order group. My God. My God, folks. I hope we can have some law and order, and I hope, you know, all these people that continually have more and more stuff given to the public, exposed to the public, of their close ties to Jeffy Epi. This guy, very close to Donald Trump, helped him get into the White House the first time. Pretty sure he's still, you know, ranting and raving. Didn't Donald Trump get him out of prison too? He went to prison for like grifting people. It's so sad, man. So sad. Times are tough. Steve, stop grifting. Here he is with Jeff Ep. Don't forget, there's Donald. I mean, just the fact that a dude of that age, you know, would be bragging about what he did at the pageants he owned. That enough. You would think that would be enough for, especially looking at you Christians, the Christians to be like, well, you know, Jesus said, you're not just cheating if you divorce your wife, but your thoughts, what you think, could count as, you know, sin. And you would think some of the stuff he said would disqualify him from anybody that claims to follow Jesus from following him. But here we are. I never trusted Steve Bannon or Wells. Trust your gut. Good instinct. Don't trust Bannon. Look at this dude sitting here breaking it down to Jeff Epstein. I mean, listen, you could be in the group of people, and I've seen them in the comments that say stuff like, photos don't prove anything. Okay. Well, again, I'm going to block some of this stuff out. But if you're hanging out with Jeff Epstein and these are the jokes that you're making, I would think that, you know, there's some more to investigate. That's what I would say. And if you're of the people who go, well, that proves nothing. That proves nothing. They were just wildly perverted old men. And I would say, well, then you shouldn't be against a full investigation and full release, sorry about the language, of this information to the public, correct? So we can know what the president was doing behind closed doors with his friend Jeffy Eppy. Remember, the president, the seat of the Oval Office, Oval Orifice, sorry, I can't pronounce that correctly. The seat of the Oval Orifice is a public seat, public service. He's a public servant. He works for us. People, not me, not my president. Remember when you guys used to say that last year? Not my president. That was adorable. You guys are really adorable in a moronic way. But not my president, but you voted for him to go and represent you. That's why they're paid for, their public service is paid with our tax dollars, because we're their bosses. And if these photos started coming out about one of your employees, I hope you would look into it. If you don't, that's okay. That's where people like me step up and do our civic duty to demand some transparency. How do these people have access to the most powerful, the most wealthy in the world? Are you okay with this, America? Now, I know there's the Russian trolls and the Nigerian princes in the comments that are going to go, yeah. Ignore them. I'm talking to the actual Americans that care about law and order, justice, accountability, all these things. That's why I want to plant these seeds. Because is this okay? And you can say it proves nothing, but I would say, shouldn't we investigate? Is our community safe with this guy running things? You think he cares about anybody if he has the demented nature to surround himself? I always think of the old song by brilliant lyricist William Eilish. William Eilish, great poet. I wonder, Eilish, is that Irish? Well, William Eilish wrote this poem and turned it into song. And it was called Birds of a Feather. And I always think of that song, birds of a feather flock together. Why would you be surrounding yourself? If you really like, hey man, I want to keep my kids safe. I should have got the photo of where Don, Jeff Epstein's best friend, old ADH dementia, where he brought his kids around Jeffy Eppy. Best friends, they said. Jeff did. Donald Trump claims to distance himself. But really, he was there the whole time. Things may have soured over a real estate deal, but if you're trusting this guy, I don't know how to help you. If you still are trusting this dude, the guy who said grocery prices aren't up, the guy who also clearly has never been grocery shopping. Look at that. Richard Branson, explain yourself. Steve Bannon, explain yourself. Bill Gates, Larry Summers, shouldn't be teaching at Harvard, shouldn't be around impressionable young minds. Harvard, that's on you. Take some action. So does this go deeper than any of us suspected? Does this have ties to everything? Why isn't Harvard reacting? Dusty, good to see you. Life is crazy. Like, seriously, why do we even need conspiracy theories? Well, the funny thing is, last year, this was the conspiracy podcast Hot Ticket to the White House. We're going to talk about the Epstein files and we're going to get them released. It was such a hot ticket that the FBI is now run by two podcasters. Oh, Jesus. I feel like we need an older nation to come and talk to America, be like, America, come here. You're a young nation. Come here. We gotta have a conversation. Come here. We gotta have a talk. Gates isn't in prison because he's rich. I think you could say that for probably every single one of these people. Well, I mean, he went to prison. He was robbing people. I talked about it on live. I forget exactly what. They had like set up this whole campaign contribution thing, and it was just their own money. You know, a typical grift. Like somebody should have told Steve Bannon to get a meme coin guy, because apparently you could just run meme coins and there's no penalties for, you know, grifting people, scamming people. God, I remember, you know, a few years ago, I remember way back to a few years ago where you tried to hold people accountable that were scam artists. I know they've always existed, but, you know, again, it's so funny. This is done under the guise of a group of people who are like, law and order. We need law and order. But we're going to ignore grifters, schemers, scammers, meme coins, rug pulls. We're going to ignore all that. We're going to pardon everybody who donates. We're going to, you know, not release the Epstein files, which is why. Do you guys know why Cash App Patel and Dan Vagina were appointed to the FBI? Do you know why? Because they were the Epstein Bros. That's what their podcast should have been called. Epstein Bros. We're cooked. What are these Nigerian princes doing in here? My God. Guys, take a break from... Here. Hey, MAGA. I need you to take a break from having your head that far up Donald Trump's butt, okay? His tuchus. I want you to take a little break, you know? I want you to do some reflection and think about where life went wrong for you, that this is what you do. You defend an 80-year-old dementia, a cruel and unusually punishing dementia dude who was best friends with Jeff Epstein, okay? I need you guys to just sit and reflect and go, what happened in my life that I'm willing to sacrifice any little speck of character I once had, any kind of morality, and I'll throw it all out the window to try and defend Donald Jeffrey Epstein's best friend. That's what the J stands for, I believe. Trump. That's why he always signs it DJT. If you like that, conspiracy theorists, you know, you'll love this, that he always signed it right in front of you. He was telling you he was best friends with Jeff Epstein. He was signing DJT. He was putting it right in front of you the whole time, and no one put it together. It was so simple, yet there it was. And I connected those dots for you. I love these people that come in here and say, we don't care about leftist opinion. So get the fuck out of here. Why are you commenting in my live? Seriously. You don't care so much that you'll come here every day to tell me you don't care. I don't know about you, but if I spent my days following someone going, I don't care what you think. I'm going to wait for the next thing you say so I can comment on that. I would call you a liar. People forget, though. They forget that the things they say reflects on them. You could say a bunch of words. Don't reflect on me. People have become so codependent here in America. So codependent. They think their words mean something about other people. No, I'm sorry. Here's a life lesson for you young bloods. What you say reflects about you and how you think. Not me. That's why I do a live stream. I'll give you my thoughts. And that's why whatever that dude's name was, I could truly tell you, I don't care that you don't care. And I won't go to your YouTube channel, 16 Tones. I will go to yours because I want to check out and see if you're making music. I didn't get to see it in the thing. No, Nordic. Codependent. Not just no sense of self, but very wrapped up in others. So they think, I would say their sense of self is others. But I don't know. It's an interesting thing, and there are YouTubers who actually dive into the cult personality. Great song too. And I love these comments because I get these a lot too. Welcome, I'm Rob. I comment on the news. Hit subscribe, hit the notification bell. I appreciate everybody who has joined us. 10,000 strong, on to 1 million. And then we're going to outseat Mr. Beast. And then we'll all take him to court because he said subscribe for a cookie. And I've never got my cookie. I've unsubscribed since because, his is unoriginal garbage. AI slop could do better than he does. But I love when people say this. Bro literally follows Trump and then talks about him. Ah, yes. This guy is following the president and talking about what's happening in our communities. Get a load of this guy. I love it. Who was that? Who was that little moron? Oh, 16 tones. No, I don't have much music up right now. Hopefully. I hope you do too. We need more humans creating art. So may you find your muse, 16 tones. May you find your muse. Who was that? I don't know who was that, but I'm a big fan of conspiracies, but isn't the J in the DJT John? Says you. You say you're into conspiracies. You ever seen his birth certificate? Huh? Have you? Speaking of birth certificates, wasn't he the one that demanded everybody show a birth certificate? I haven't. And was it whited out? Was what under John whited out? Conspiracy. I think it stands for Jeffrey Epstein's best friend, because they've been booty brothers forever. I don't know who said bro literally follows Donald Trump and talks about him, but you're hilarious and nobody should take you seriously on advice in life. You need to grow up and mature mentally. If you think somebody following along with what the leader of their country is doing and commenting on it is I don't know what you think it is, but if you think that's funny, keep walking that point out. Keep being like, this man is paying attention to what's happening around him every day and commenting on the cruelty of this sleepy, dozy dementia guy and his friendships with the massive PDF file ring, the largest one in known history, in recorded history. 31% approval rating, worst in U.S. history. I would say worst in our lifetime. I mean, of course he's unpopular. Let me comment on Ryan 2691. Like the numbers, throw some numbers in there. He's from Pumpkin Land. I like the conspiracy. Is Donald Trump, show us your birth certificate. Are you from Pumpkin Land? Yeah, but listen, the reason why, you could just look at my chat, my live chat, and you'll see why people have this facade of oh, maybe people like him. It's because it's been exposed. There is a huge psyop. Donald Trump is a Russian asset. Donald Trump, friends with Mossad good friend, Epi, Jeff Epp, running the biggest ring in recorded history, right? Running on Law and Order. But these people with their unlimited dough have facilitated bad faith actors online to prop them up. So I showed this a couple weeks ago when Elon Musk exposed Twitter for being a bunch of bots and also a bunch of foreign agents, bad actors, with the account location based in. And they were all Russia, Southeast Asia, Nigeria. They were all bad actors. And these were MAGA #1 American Patriot accounts. And they have 1 million subs. So they were retweeting and they were hyping. The virtual world isn't that real, especially for MAGA. I mean, just go on Twitter and look at how many followers Elon has. I've said this since the day he took over. He's got hundreds of millions of followers and will get 60,000 likes. I'm what's that percentage? Do the math. He's not popular. So they boost shit, And this has been in our face all the time. I mean, a psyop, but it's also not a conspiracy. This has been in our face. When Elon Musk got mad at the Super Bowl because Biden or whatever tweeted something, he had the algorithm tweaked so everyone saw his stuff. And if you've been on Twitter for a long time, like I have, when I worked in radio, I started my account, so it's been decades, you notice the change. You know that you don't follow this dude and he's in your feed all the time. And you're oh, Jesus Christ. Also, the huge irony of him tweeting all the time and then saying, I'm very hard at work. I'm CEO of 40 companies. And it's like, oh, if you could tweet that much, then maybe CEO is an important role. Maybe not worth $1 trillion. If you could tweet that much and do all these side jobs, I don't know many CEOs that are taking side work in the White House. My Christ. 16 tons. He has raided the Treasury, rug pulled the stock market several times. He just can't bring himself to follow the law. Make Argentina great again. There we go, Darnell. That's what MAGA means now. All right, I'll accept make Argentina great again, and I will also accept the phrase I coined. So if you see this on a shirt with a rainbow, that's mine. I would like a hug. You can keep the money. I don't give a shit. Money is just energy. Bring it in, let it out. Make America gay again. MAGA. Make America gay again. Donald Trump, blah, blah, blah. And here's the thing. Us leftists, we're not trying to regulate who you can marry. We're not trying to regulate your body. We believe in personal sovereignty, unlike the libertarians and the Republicans who want to regulate bodies of women and who you can and cannot marry and what cake you can make. And I say in the land of the free, unless you've revised the definition of free, I'll check Merriam-Webster's later. In the land of the free, you should be able to do that stuff, with everyone being a consenting adult. Their RNC did crash Grindr twice in one night. And they crash it every time they go to a new city. So wherever the RNC is, just be prepared. If you are a user of Grindr, just be prepared. It's going to crash. And listen, here's the thing. Most leftists don't care. We don't care. If you want to be gay, Mike, whatever, Grindr Mike, we don't care. You guys are the ones that made it a big deal. You're like, we got to fix these books and burn them because they're telling everybody about gay people. It's like, who gives a shit? Isn't this America? Do you really want it to be Saudi Arabia? You want religious law and no gay people? Like, damn, you are trying to go for the Middle East of the West. Holy shit, y'all Qaeda. How many Russian trolls getting quota today? I haven't heard that before. That was funny. Thank you. Who's that, Travis? That was fucking funny. Yeah, they got to hit quota. They go back to Putin. They're like, I did it. I sowed discord among the live streamers. Can I have my ruble? Oh, please. What about Sharia law? Yes, Stuart. I say the Republicans want Sharia law in America. They want Sharia law here. They want Christian law. But the thing is I got a little inside tip for you guys, okay? Here, I love the fucking Bible. I love the Bible. I was reading the Bible today and I was like, oh shit, look at Luke chapter 8, ministering women. Jesus and his 12 disciples were headed out with some women to minister. I love that. Women played such an important role in the Bible. If you take them out of this story, you take out their importance and the parts they played along with the disciples of Jesus, you don't have the New Testament. You don't have the good news. Who did Jesus first appear to? You don't think women are important? Why are they always in the most vital roles of his story? But I was reading the Bible earlier and I was like, it's so funny because they really don't want the Republicans and the Christian right, the far Christian right, which they're not Christians. Okay. Anybody who follows Christ, you got to try to live like them. You're not asking if they worked 40 hours to feed them. Jesus didn't do that with the fish and the bread. Okay. They want, I don't know, some kind of mix of Old Testament Torah laws. They're always quoting Leviticus. It's like, okay, so are you Jewish? Are you like Jewish Jesus? Because Jesus was Jewish, which oh my God, majestic hawk. Oh my God, that's so beautiful. Oh my God. That was beautiful, sorry. Beautiful hawk. But for all these people that are like, we need to bring religion into da-da-da-da-da, I pose this question. What are you going to do? Vote on which religion every 4 years? Because even in the Christian faith, you got Catholic, Protestant, ask Northern Ireland how that's going. All this stuff, right? So I say it's good to have the separation, right? So you can just worship what you want and let the government provide the good welfare for the people. Law and order, right? Law and order. But Jesus made it very clear. Greatest 2 commandments. Anybody know? Love your God and love your neighbor unselfishly. If we want to implement that as law, okay, I could see it done in an economic bill of rights, making sure that every neighbor is nourished and has a roof over their head and health care and food. You know, that's a Jesus law right there. That's a Jesus law. Not whatever the Republicans are trying to do, restrict shit. And, you know, Jesus wasn't the one to be like, you know, we really got to be limited in who's marrying who. If anything, Jesus said, fuck divorce. It's what your mind and heart is doing. So if your mind is doing that stuff, then, you know, then you need to handle that. But these Republicans ain't Christians, man. They ain't trying to do some kind of Jesus law. They can't even get along with the 10 commandments. You know? Look at this dude right here. Let me show you. Thou shalt not commit adultery. I'm sorry. When he first ran for president, what was the controversy with Stormy Daniels? What was it again? Isn't he married? Okay. So you can't even abide by the 10 commandments. They are not real Christians. That is, you know, not calling the obvious for no reason. But some people need to hear this shit. But they do want the white boy Sharia law, Al-Qaeda, here in America. Why? Not because they believe in any of it. It's for control. Oh, that person almost went forwards instead of backwards. Should I let them know? And what is our neighbor? The whole world, including the scumbags that would end your life for not believing? Yeah, Billy, I hate to break it to you, man. Everyone's your neighbor. Everyone. I don't want to spoil Jesus' story for you or his disciples. But bro, Jesus, I'll give you some hints. Jesus said, whoever would give his life up is a real one. And Jesus, all right, I'm just going to do it. Spoiler alert, Jesus gave up his life for his followers. Spoiler alert, if you haven't got to that part of the Gospels, Jesus laid down his life. He didn't say, no, it's vital important that I stay here and build a basilica, build a cathedral. He didn't do that. I hate to break it to you. I didn't want to be the one. Maybe you were almost there.